is what I saw recently, I think, something that could very well indicate to me, at least fundamentally speaking, that it's just the beginning when it comes to Onyx. Well, I like to lean towards yes, and let me explain what I even mean by that, but I first want to clarify, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, it's just my perspective, and nothing I say is financial advice. So Onyx recently revealed that there is now over 3.3 billion Onyx that has bridged to the Onyx Layer 1. Why does this even matter? Well, it's because if we take a look at it, this could matter especially in terms of the longevity in regard to Onyx, because recently this year they launched the mainnet of their Layer 1 blockchain. Now, if we take a look at it, the reason why this is a good step in the right direction, in my opinion, is because if we take a look at Onyx, right? It started as an ERC20 token when it comes to Ethereum. Now, if we take a look at that right there, I mean, it's cool if Onyx is on Ethereum, but if Onyx is actually on its native chain, what happens is that there's going to be a lot more savings in terms of the hypothetical gas fees, right? Because if we take a look at Onyx on Ethereum, I mean, again, Ethereum is a very massive thing, but at the same time, the gas fees sometimes it's not that good. So if let's say more and more Onyx is actually on its literal native chain, I'm talking about the Onyx Layer 1, where literally Onyx is actually used for gas fees on there, and 10% of gas fees on there are actually burned, if anything, it could be a good start when it comes to Onyx, because again, the more and more things that are going to go on when it comes to the Onyx Layer 1, in theory, the more Onyx is being burned, and again, that's going to create this deflationary pressure, which of course is not such a bad thing, because if something becomes more rare, why would that be bad? That's just my perspective. And if we take a look at it as well, when it comes to Onyx, right, we have to take a look at this. Why is 3.3 billion Onyx a pretty monumental figure? Even though it's not the greatest of all time, I think it's monumental in a sense where it could very well be the start. If we take a look at it, this is not in terms of dollars, by the way. I'm literally talking about the amount of tokens when it comes to Onyx. But if we take a look at it, let's say we assume exactly 3.3 billion. That represents roughly around 8.5% of the current circulating supply when it comes to Onyx. Again, it's not the best ratio out there, but it's pretty decent seeing how that much has bridged over to the Onyx Layer 1, so far at least. If we take a look at that, that also represents almost 5% of the maximum supply, and also in terms of the total supply, again, 3.3 billion does represent almost 7%. So if we take a look at that right there, it's pretty impressive considering the current conditions. I mean, sure, Bitcoin has recovered a little bit, Onyx not that much in the past 24 hours, but them making that reveal lately, again, making that post saying how 3.3 billion Onyx so far, or should I say over 3.3 billion, and how that has bridged to the Onyx Layer 1, it's a pretty impressive thing. In 2026, the market, when it comes to this space, hasn't been doing the best. Onyx, they launched the mainnet this year. When it comes to their Layer 1, arguably not the best timing. But still, even despite all that, over 3.3 billion Onyx has already bridged over to the Onyx Layer 1. That's kind of legendary, in my opinion, given the circumstances. Again, I'm not talking about the best of the best figures of all time, but given the current conditions and given the time, it's pretty impressive what I'm seeing right there. Did it affect the price charts? No, not really. I mean, that post didn't really do much. Onyx just recovered around 0.24% in the past 24 hours approximately. So it's really nothing that affected Onyx, if any. But I think this could matter so much when it comes to Onyx. And also, I think something like this could give better stability, in a sense, when it comes to Onyx. And the reason why I say that is because imagine, right? If, let's say, there's more and more Onyx that is actually on the Layer 1. Imagine if more and more people actually lock up their Onyx to help secure the network. Inherently, it's going to be better, right? Because if, let's say, there is more that is locked up on Onyx, what happens is that if it's actually securing the network, it's going to just make it a lot better, because a lot of these enterprises do care about security. And Onyx actually recently launched something called Onyx Mesh, which is literally going to help foster better enterprise adoption. I've already gone through it in my previous videos when it comes to Onyx Mesh, but basically it's this way for institutions to still use the Onyx Layer 1 basically, but then still have some of the information out there private. So that was pretty impressive when it comes to Onyx Mesh. That also launched quite recently. It actually launched in the beginning of this month. So we got to think about it. In 2026 is actually the best year for Onyx so far, I think, fundamentally speaking. I mean, it's not the best year it's ever had in terms of the price charts. However, when it comes to the price charts, there's not too much I could talk about there, just because it hasn't really done much of anything. This video is more so meant for the long-term fans when it comes to Onyx, those who actually, are taking a look at the updates and what's going on when it comes to Onyx. This video is not me, pulling up a price chart, drawing some random triangles and all this. Now, of course, I'll still show the price charts when it comes to the screen, or should I say on the screen, just for a visualization, but I'm not going to be pulling up some price chart and drawing some random triangles, because quite frankly, if I do that, I'm never going to be able to know anyways. I mean, basically, I'm just, guessing off my drawings for what if I did do that? I wouldn't want to do that. So it's more so meant about the news and the stuff that's going on when it comes to Onyx. But if anything, if something does happen to the price charts, I will talk about it. It's just there's not much that's going on as of right now. Keep in mind, the peak, right, when it comes to Onyx last year in terms of market cap was around $1 billion. So considering how as of right now, we're over 6 times away from that, I mean, Onyx has had a pretty significant pullback. But if anything, if Onyx could return back to there, I'm already going to Sizzler. But that's a big if. But if anything, the way I take a look at it is that Onyx is actually not better last year than this year in terms of the fundamentals. It's way better right now, in my opinion. So if Onyx was able to reach around $1 billion in terms of market cap last year, I mean, who's to say it maybe hypothetically can return back to there one day? Who knows, right? Especially if, let's say, the market were to recover. That's the thing. And as of right now, the journey back to around $1 billion in terms of market cap, we're over 6 times away from that. That's the thing. I mean, Bitcoin is not, going to have this 6 times journey or whatever if it goes back to its all-time high. No, it's not. I mean, if Bitcoin were to go back to its all-time high, the journey would be over a 2x from here, but it's not like it's a 6 times movement or anything, but I'm just saying. Besides that point, though, when it comes to Onyx, as of right now, the fact that they even, have seen activity in a sense where there's now over 3.3 billion Onyx that has been bridged over to the Onyx Layer 1, that is kind of impressive. And consider this as well, right? The amount of holders when it comes to Onyx is around 150,000. That's really massive. Some other projects out there don't have that many. Take a look at Onyx's closest competitor, which is called Zebic. I'm a big fan when it comes to Zebic, but I'm just saying, Zebic's amount of holders is around 110,000. This is around 150,000. That's just my mindset. Now, Zebic has a higher market cap than Onyx as of right now. Zebic's market cap is around 200 million. Onyx is, of course, around 140 million. But if we take a look at it, Onyx just has more holders. And also on top of that, this year they've been making amazing strides lately, especially when it comes to their layer 1 and when it comes to Onyx Mesh. And then also seeing the fact that there's that many people out there who have, I guess, seen the Onyx layer 1 and cared enough to the point that we have seen, again, over 3.3 billion Onyx that has been bridged over to their layer 1. It's kind of impressive, especially seeing how, again, the mainnet of their layer 1 launched just this year. So what they're doing as of right now goes far beyond the price charts, because sure, as of right now, this may not be such a big deal, but if the market were to recover and if the activity were to return back to this space in a pretty impressive way, hypothetically, this is the stuff that people usually care about. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Take a look at Cardano. It wasn't doing so good, and then suddenly what happened, right? In 2021, ADA reached a very amazing all-time high, went to around $3. Before, it was hovering at around a couple cents. Everyone thought that Cardano was cooked. But guess what? They kept building, they kept doing things, the community was still impressive. So then eventually, when that hypothetical altcoin season really kicked in, all the stuff that Cardano was doing before, it suddenly mattered a lot. And then we saw what happened in 2021. So why would I think about it any differently here? Now, I'm not saying that this could ever become as massive as Cardano. I'm not saying that. But if it maybe has a small glimpse of that, wouldn't surprise me. I'm just saying. But again, only time will tell. Especially if I'm taking a look at the strides they're making, fundamentally speaking. Now, I get it. At a time like this, people sometimes like to say, this is so boring. Like, okay, Onyx did this. Like, who really cares? Or Onyx did that, whatever. But again, this is the type of stuff that can matter later. It's like, for instance, let's say I buy snorkeling gear, right? Am I going to be snorkeling every day? No. But at the same time, if I happen to snorkel one day, then that, snorkeling equipment that I acquired, or should I say that I bought, it's suddenly going to matter. So it's kind of no different when it comes to this space. My analogy when it comes to it is like, for instance, imagine if, let's say, I made a restaurant that specialized only in potato salad. And let's say in this pure hypothetical, I made this restaurant in a city, or should I say a town, that doesn't really like potato salad for whatever reason. But imagine if suddenly that potato salad trend became viral. Let's say everyone suddenly liked potato salad in that specific town or in that specific city. What happens? Because I built that restaurant before, it was there to kind of catch the wave. It was proactive. It wasn't being reactive, right? Reactive would mean that I would build that restaurant after the, wave kicked in, after the potato salad trend kicked in. Then that's being reactive by me building it only after the trend is there. But because I built the restaurant before, it was being proactive, right? And I kind of view it no different here. When it comes to Onyx, they're doing the things right now, so then maybe it could matter later on. That's just the way I take a look at it. I am not telling anyone to do anything. This is just my personal perspective. But again, I just thought it was pretty cool seeing that recent statistic basically showcasing how there's now over 3.3 billion Onyx that has bridged over to the Onyx Layer 1. Wow. Seems kind of impressive given the current conditions. But you know what? I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward. So hopefully y'all stay tuned for all of that. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.